I did see that an NBC correspondent posted a photo of a flyer looking document that said certain people and campaigns were barred from the entire venue, spin room, and the venue. The entire Larry
Right.
Elder campaign was on that. What do you make of that?
You tell me. I believe the fix is in. I believe the RNC wants Ron DeSantis to win, and I think that they felt that if I were there, I would have upstaged them, perhaps, or brought forth some issues that the Republican Party is uncomfortable talking about. For example, the number one social problem in America is the epidemic of fatherlessness. By the way, Vivek mentioned it and even used the term epidemic of fatherlessness. I have been on venues with Vivek many times in Iowa and in New Hampshire, and he's never mentioned it. In fact, he told me once, if I don't make the debate stage, will you endorse me? I said, I can't say that, but I will say this. If I don't make the debate stage, please mention the epidemic of fatherlessness and say that my good friend Larry Elder has been bringing that topic to the center. He mentioned epidemic of fatherlessness, didn't mention elder. And I'm semi okay with that because I want them to start talking about the issue. And I want whoever the front runner is to focus on it, and hopefully the Democrats will and the media will. But it's a little annoying to push and push and push this issue for years, as I have, and then it's mentioned verbatim what I've been saying without any kind of attribution. The other issue I think I make them feel uncomfortable about is this. The Democrats, particularly people like Joe Biden, have constantly pushed the notion that America remains systemically racist. Biden gave a talk at a commencement speech at Howard University and said the number one threat to the homeland was, wait for it, white supremacy. That's nonsense. And this kind of notion is getting people killed. It's called the Ferguson effect or the George Floyd effect. And that, Brittany, is a phenomenon of cops pulling back from their normal proactive policing all over America. As a result, there are thousands of excess casualties, including people who are dead, who otherwise wouldn't be dead if the police weren't maligned that way. Also, the George Floyd or the Black Lives Matter riots of May of 2020. 35 people killed, 2,000 police officers wounded, $2 billion of property damage, all because of this lie that what happened to George Floyd, however you feel about it, had to do with his race. The lead black prosecutor never even intimated that what happened to George Floyd was because of his race. Officer Derek Chauvin was never charged with a hate crime, yet you had protests, the most deadly protests, widespread protests in the history of America, all because of a lie that what happened to George Floyd had to do with his race. I say stuff like that, it makes them feel uncomfortable. And then you have this meltdown of K through 12 education, Brittany, where, just to pick one city, Baltimore, I kid you not, there were 13 public high schools in Baltimore where 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. The Democrats oppose school choice because their largest funder is the teachers union, even as the party elites, whether it's Barack Obama or Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden, have their own kids in private school. And I'm talking about an amendment to fix spending to a certain percentage of the GDP, with exceptions for war and for natural disaster. Otherwise, government gets bigger and bigger, whether a Republican is in office or a Democrat is in office. And I think these kinds of things makes the establishment Republicans feel just a little uncomfortable.